Hey, y'all, Scott Horton here for WallStreetWindow.com. Mike Swanson knows his stuff. He made a killing running his own hedge fund and always gets out of the stock market before the government-generated bubbles pop, which is, by the way, what he's doing right now, selling all his stocks and betting on gold and commodities. Sign up at WallStreetWindow.com and get real-time updates from Mike on all his market moves. It's hard to know how to protect your savings and earn a good return in an economy like this. Mike Swanson can help. Follow along on paper and see for yourself. WallStreetWindow.com.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the show. All right, I'm writing down a giant note to myself. I gotta call Ian about what he did to the wizard here. That just ain't how it's supposed to go. All right. Okay. I got Landay on the phone. Where'd he go? I lost him. I got him. He'll be here in just a second. Jonathan Landay, he is back in Iraq reporting for McClatchy newspapers. Welcome back to the show, Jonathan. How are you?
It's good to be with you again, Scott.
Very happy to have you back on the show. Very important piece you have here at McClatchyDC.com. Slaughter of Anbar tribesmen shows weakness in U.S. plan to beat Islamic State. And you're talking about the Abu Nimr tribe. As you say here, one of Anbar's largest Sunni Muslim tribes. Please tell us all about it.
So the Abu Nimr live in western Iraq, quite far out, a lot of it in the desert. And they've been fighting off attacks by the Islamic State since the Islamic State launched its offensive this summer. In particular, there's been a lot of fighting around the city of Heat. And about 10 days or so ago, the Islamic State attacked a town of the Abu Nimr, overran it after the defenders agreed to stop fighting and to withdraw, and were given a pledge of that their civilians would be spared. After the fighters left the town, the Islamic State reneged on that pledge. They killed more than 40, or executed in public more than 40 of their prisoners, and evicted thousands of civilians, at least according to leaders of the Abu Nimr, and pursued them through the desert. We're told that more than 400 of them have now been slaughtered. The reason that this is important is because it is one of an example of clashes between the Anbar tribes, who are Sunni, and the extremists, these Sunni extremists, in which the tribes contend they've received absolutely no help from the Iraqi army or government, and pleadings for U.S. airstrikes. And this has sort of added to a long list of grievances that the tribesmen, these Sunni tribesmen, hold against the Shiite-led government in Baghdad and against the army. And for that reason, it's one of a number of hurdles that are facing this plan by President Obama to re-enlist the Sunni tribes who participated in the awakening during the American occupation of Iraq, and turning them against the Islamic State.
Well, now, okay, when we talked back in April, this would have made sense from Maliki's point of view, that it's good politics among the Shia, that he's their protector from the Sunni extremists, this kind of thing. But now, you've had, 6 or 8 pages worth of history have turned since then, and Maliki's gone. You had the new guy, Abadi, and I could understand, okay, they don't want to arm up these Sunni tribes that they don't like, but they don't want to arm them up even against the Islamic State when these guys are fighting for their lives against the Islamic State? Why in the hell not? It's not like it's going to blow back on them that bad in this particular instance, right?
Well, that's one of the things they're concerned about. And let's not forget about the makeup of this government. It's dominated by Shiite religious parties who control the Shiite militias, that are in fact the most effective fighting force now on behalf of the government. And these parties don't want to see the Sunni tribes rearmed, and at least some people believe that neither does Iran, which is the patron of these Shiite religious parties and these Shiite militias here in Iraq. And so it's of enormous frustration to the Anbar tribes, the Sunni tribes, and it's a major obstacle to the Obama administration's strategy for crushing the Islamic State, because Washington is saying that unless the government arms these tribes, it is not going to provide military advisors to the bereft Iraqi army as it tries to repulse the Islamic State in Anbar province. So Washington wants these tribes armed in return for sending U.S. advisors to Anbar to help the army, which is in fact withdrawn into its major bases and is surrounded in many cases and besieged by the Islamic State. 80% of this province, which makes up about 1/3 of Iraq, is under the control of the Islamic State. It's a very, very strategic piece of land. It's a lot of it's barren desert, but it borders Saudi Arabia, it borders Syria, and it borders Jordan, and it borders 5 other Iraqi provinces. And so it's basically a roadway from which the Islamic State can shift men and materiel from Syria to the outskirts of Baghdad to 5 other Iraqi provinces, and can threaten the Shiite holy cities of Karbala and Najaf.
Right. Well, but it sounds like you're saying the Iranians have decided, which they are the power behind the Dawa Party and the Supreme Islamic Council, the Badr Corps and all that, and they've decided long ago, and it doesn't sound like they've changed their mind about this. They don't really care who rules Sunnistan as long as it's not them. They're not so dumb as to try to bite off that much more than they can chew, and so they're not willing to help the tribe. They don't want another awakening, even if it means the tribes beating Baghdadi. They don't care if it's Baghdadi or the tribes. Just don't come to Baghdad. Just don't come to Karbala, right?
So, if the Iranians are in fact trying to keep the tribes from being armed and being turned against the Islamic State, it's pretty short-sighted.
Yeah. Well, their policy always has been really to support those who support strong federalism, meaning break the country up. It would be crazy for them to try to really have. We saw in practice when the Shiite army tries to occupy Mosul, they'll turn and run at the first shot fired because it's not their territory, it's somebody else's city. So they turn and flee. What are they going to do? Dominate it forever?
Well, but as I said, Scott, it would be awfully short-sighted to allow the breakup of Iraq, because the Iranians would have constant violence.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, the whole thing's evil. They helped get 1 million people killed in the last 10 years.
Don't forget, it would strengthen the Islamic State, which is also, don't forget, fighting in Syria next door. It is the strongest of the insurgent force, Bashar Assad, and to allow them to maintain a huge chunk of Iraq would be very counterproductive for the Iranians' effort to keep Assad in power.
Right. But then again, if America goes in there and backs the Iranian and Shiite militias and AKA Iraqi army and all these groups to try to really defeat and vanquish the Islamic State, that's just like throwing gasoline right on the fire rather than water, right?
Except that's essentially what's going on now. Don't forget, at least here in Iraq, we've had these American airstrikes, more than 3 months worth, and a lot of them have been in support of operations in which the Iranian-backed Shia militia are involved, and in fact, elements of the Quds force, which is the elite of the elite Islamic Revolutionary Guard of Iran.
Right.
And so there is kind of a de facto cooperation going on even now. And I think, some of these Sunni tribes, like this sheikh of the Abu Nimr, who I've been speaking to for the last week, has gotten so desperate to save his people that he is willing to accept offers from 30 Shiite tribes in the south to send their gunmen to go help protect his people, his Sunni people in Anbar province. Wow. That's how desperate the situation has become.
Man. All right. Well, the audio has just gotten so terrible, and I know you got to go, so we'll end it here. But thank you. Great reporting again, Jonathan. That's it. He's gone. All right, y'all. That's the great Jonathan Landay. Back in just a sec. Hey, y'all. Scott Horton here. I want to tell you about this great new book, Livin' La Vida Barocca, American Culture in an Age of Imperial Orthodoxies by Thomas Harrington. While he comes from the left, Harrington has little time for much of what is passed off under that label today. Like us libertarians, he puts peace and freedom first. The book's got great essays on American fascism, empire, the Israeli occupation, the left and Obama, liberalism in the state, and some interesting lessons from the history of Imperial Spain. Livin' La Vida Barocca by Thomas Harrington. Check it out at scotthorton.org/books or scotthorton.org/Amazon. Hey, all, Scott Horton here. It's always safe to say that one should keep at least some of your savings in precious metals as a hedge against inflation. And if this economy ever does heat back up and the banks start expanding credit, rising prices could make metals a very profitable bet. Since 1977, Robertson Roberts Brokerage Inc. has been helping people buy and sell gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and they do it well. They're fast, reliable, and trusted for more than 35 years. And they take Bitcoin. Call Robertson Roberts at 1-800-874-9760 or stop by rrbi.co.